So, Mexico has quietly been emerging as a rising economic powerhouse. In recent years, Mexico's GDP growth rate has actually outpaced many countries in the Latin American region and even some developed nations. But how did this happen, and what exactly is driving Mexico's rapid ascent? At a first glance, Mexico may not seem like the next great economic superpower. It's a country known for its beautiful beaches, rich culture, and proximity to the United States. However, beneath the surface, a transformation is taking place with a strategic location that links North America to Central and South America, vast natural resources, and a young, dynamic workforce. Mexico is positioning itself to become a key player on a global economic stage. While the country still faces its share of challenges, the foundation for economic success is being laid, and the world is starting to take notice. And this video will delve into Mexico's hidden economic potential, examining the factors that are driving its growth, some of the obstacles it must overcome, and why it could soon be one of the most influential economies in the world. So, despite its promising future, Mexico still faces significant challenges that threaten to hold back its growth. One of the biggest obstacles is corruption, which has long plagued both the government and the private sector. According to Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, Mexico ranks among the lowest in Latin America. Corruption not only discourages foreign investment, but also hampers domestic businesses from growing and competing on a much larger scale. Another critical issue is actually inequality. Mexico has one of the highest levels of income inequality among OECD countries. The wealth imbalance is pretty steep, with the richest 10% of the population earning almost 30 times more than the poorest 10%. This level of inequality has the potential to cause a lot of social unrest and limit economic mobility, which could prevent many from fully participating in the country's economic growth. Furthermore, safety and security remain pressing issues, as violence related to drug cartels often makes headlines. While the situation has improved a bit in certain areas, the instability can still deter investors and disrupt business operations. But despite these challenges, Mexico's potential is still undeniable, and there are a few key factors driving its rise that make the country one to watch in the coming decades. And number one being strategic trade agreements. So, one of the biggest advantages Mexico has is its extensive network of trade agreements. Mexico is a member of the USMCA, which is the United States Mexico Canada Agreement, which allows it to trade freely with the world's largest economy, the United States. In fact, the US is Mexico's largest trading partner, and about 80% of Mexico's exports go north of the border. However, Mexico's trade reach extends far beyond North America. It has free trade agreements with over 50 countries, including the European Union and Japan, giving it access to a vast global market. Now, this vast network of trade agreements means that Mexican companies can sell their goods to nearly any part of the world, making Mexico an attractive destination for businesses looking to expand their global footprint. Number two is manufacturing hubs. So, Mexico's manufacturing sector is one of the key drivers of its economic growth. The country has become a global hub for manufacturing, particularly in the automotive, aerospace, and electronics industries. Mexico is now the seventh largest car producer in the world, with major companies like General Motors, Ford, and Nissan operating large-scale factories in the country. Part of what makes Mexico so attractive for manufacturing is its relatively low labor costs combined with high productivity. Wages in Mexico are significantly lower than in the US or Canada, but the country's proximity to these markets means that goods can be transported quickly and cheaply. This has led to a phenomenon known as nearshoring, where companies move their production facilities closer to the US instead of relying on far off countries like China. And number three is energy resources. So Mexico is also rich in natural resources, particularly oil and gas. Although the country's oil production has declined in recent years, the government has implemented reforms aimed at revitalizing the energy sector. These reforms have opened up the oil industry to foreign investment, and several international companies are now exploring and developing Mexico's vast untapped reserves. In addition to fossil fuels, Mexico has significant potential in renewable energy. The country's geography makes it ideal for solar and wind energy production, and Mexico has set ambitious targets for renewable energy development, aiming to generate 35% of its electricity from clean sources by 2024. By diversifying its energy mix and attracting foreign investment, Mexico is positioning itself as a leader in the energy sector, both in traditional oil and gas and in the growing renewable energy market. One of the most significant recent developments illustrating this potential is the announcement of a multi-billion-dollar investment by Tesla. The electric vehicle giant recently unveiled plans to build a new gigafactory in Mexico's northern state of Nuevo León. This factory is expected to create thousands of jobs and cement Mexico's role as a critical player in the EV supply chain. Now, Tesla's investment is just one example of a larger trend. In recent years, many multinational companies have announced new investments in Mexico, particularly in sectors like automotive manufacturing, renewable energy, and technology. These investments signal growing confidence in Mexico's economic potential and highlight the country's strategic importance in global supply chains. Now, Mexico stands at a bit of a crossroads. On one hand, it faces significant challenges like corruption, inequality, and security concerns. On the other hand, it has incredible assets, a strategic location, a young and dynamic workforce, vast natural resources, and a strong network of trade agreements. While these obstacles shouldn't be ignored, the trajectory of Mexico's economy is very clear. Major investments, a thriving manufacturing sector, and the development of its energy resources are positioning Mexico to become a global economic powerhouse in the coming years. If the country can successfully tackle its internal challenges, its hidden potential may soon become a reality, transforming Mexico into one of the most influential players on the world stage.